So I received this heartstring from Morya this morning. I'd like to read it to you. The message is titled, Investing in God's Will Through Daily Focus on the Mission of the Great White Brotherhood. Disciples of the will of God. Intense are the energies of pure spirit. Replete with cosmic joy are the currents from the will of the One. Radiant are the streams of God consciousness that flow from the mind of God. Fragrant are the sacred aromas that grace the universe from the heart of true compassion. It is election day. Have you elected today to do the will of God? Have you selected the best inner candidates for personal change and transformation? Have you opted to follow a new trajectory of light to the heart, mind, and will of God in order to further the cause of oneness, harmony, and truth? Truth seeks a vehicle for expression. Wisdom knows her own, who are open to progressive revelation and the spirals of higher realities. The teachings of the Arhats await those whose minds are quickened through deep introspection and focused attention upon the first ray of the dawning of their own spirit's ascent to the throne of pure beingness. I come to inculcate a new sense of the oneness of purpose within every initiate of the sacred fire. I invest ampules of blue fire joy within the souls of those whose motives are pure and who desire to emulate the sun and refresh the earth with solar grace. I look for those willing to be fused with divine light and energized with Spirit's graces, gifts, and gratitude for life. You who seek a better world may look within to find it, in that universe that God created inside you. You who desire a more loving humanity may restore compassion to its rightful place of grace in your own lives by consciously employing kindness as a means for resolution of conflict and planetary peace. You who would influence mankind to be more noble and true may draw upon the starfire radiance of cosmic virtue through mindful meditation upon the causeless One. Yes, intense are the energies of pure spirit. Yet those who access my fire know somewhat of its purposes to cleanse and transform, to purge and release you from every vestige of darkness and the denial of truth, patience, and happiness. You may win the day through surrender to the oneness state of unity and the beautiful ambition of selflessness. To be truthful with self requires sweating great drops of blood, of spiritual blood, to absolve yourself of your lesser desires, and to resolve yourself fully to engage in God's life plan for you. To be honest with the inner man or woman of your heart means that you are willing to strive past every seeming obstacle, every delay tactic, every temptation to engage in lesser pursuits that take you far afield from the singularity of wisdom, the unity of will, the oneness of love. Try a new path, if necessary. Walk a new route to be refreshed by the angels of change. Traverse a new mountain pass to access higher gifts and more refined thoughts of the Divine One. Virtue fulfills within you your purpose when you are awake to its inner callings. Muses respond when you pray with authentic power to bring them to your altar, your office, your kitchen. The Zen masters move amidst the minds of the still ones. The Buddhas meditate with the sentient, whose mastery of silence within brings them to far-flung stars and pulsars of blue fire joy. The Elohim await bold co-creators who are willing to first destroy every unreality within and open the portal to multiverses of oneness, divergent streams of God light. Frequent my retreat for my guidance. Invite my daily darshan with your soul. Impel the Blu-ray masters to respond by being our aides-de-camp, to powering through to complete every assignment with audacity and cosmic flair. We deny the profligate ones, as well as all toady tools. We rely on every initiate to do his work, to fulfill her mission. Get to it. Do it now. So these are the words of El Morya Khan, chief of the Darjeeling Council of the Great White Brotherhood, Chohan of the First Ray, Master of the Will of God. As we reflect on the Zen words that he shared today, as a master who lives beyond duality, though he uses the Zen means of helping us move beyond our human mind through words that trick the carnal mind, he plants seeds of light within our higher mind so that we can access them in ways and means that afford us his graces, which are God's graces. He puts the responsibility squarely back upon our shoulders to be initiates and advocates of the will of God, to engage in daily work, striving, and most importantly, the inner alchemy of scientific beingness that comes because we decide to be one with God. We aver that God's will is primal in our life. We access true wisdom by being true to ourselves. We meditate in silence to access the great silence, where the Buddhas, the Zen masters, the Elohim abide in cosmic stillness. He says the Elohim await bold co-creators who are willing to first destroy every unreality within and then open the portal to multiverses of oneness, divergent streams of God light. There is a whole alchemy of the path within this message, that when we meditate on each phrase and idea, we are emboldened to act forthrightly, judiciously, and yet with that intrepid and bold spirit of first-rate disciples. If we would be that vehicle for the expression of truth, we focus on El Morya's mind, El Morya's diamond, El Morya's diamond shining mind. If we would be that wisdom who knows us when we are in the flame of golden liquid light, we must be ever open to progressive revelation in the spirals of higher realities. When you meditate, where do you go? Where is your consciousness? Can you focus upon a divine concept long enough to bring it fully into the complex of your creative mind in your present awareness, so that it actually becomes so energized and activated right there in the space of your awareness that through your focus you can actually precipitate something divine in the etheric and draw it as close as you can into the physical. I realized that from an early age I was doing alchemy by conceiving of things as being done and then moving backward from their conclusion and finality into the present moment and assessing and accessing the steps of what must be done for them to be fulfilled. And I think many of you have done this, especially those who have been involved in businesses or creative projects. You conceptualize the end result and what your dream can be, and then you have to gather the tools, the resources, in some cases the money to buy those resources, and then step by step you work assiduously to complete a stage of that project until you finally put the capstone on it. You can finally check it off your list and say, it is finished. Done with this episode in strife. I am made one with immortal life. So every project that you complete is really a test of endurance, focus, beingness, and a part of yourself is fulfilled within that project or creative work, and a part of you ascends to your divine presence. The energies that you have put into that project allow particles, or actually impel particles of yourself to ascend into your causal body, which becomes greater and greater. And eventually, the fruit within your causal body is so great that you have the cosmic ballast, or the cosmic oomph, to then ascend to the heart of God. No ballast, just the hot air, the good hot air. So every creative and loving work, every virtuous thought and deed, every kind, compassionate word and gesture and graceful act toward another human being or to life itself impels some aspect of energy of your soul to rise. And when enough of that energy of your soul has risen to your presence, you focus upon what is good, divine, beautiful, and whole, then you have the wherewithal to continue investing until that day, that sacred day when God says, I behold you as my own. I love you as my own. You are immortal now. You live, move, and have your being in eternality. Who's to know when that day is? And yet it can be every day in one sense, in that every day is part of the ascension process. Every day we are investing in God's will through daily focus on the mission of the Great White Brotherhood, the title of this art stream. He says, it is election day. Have you elected today to do the will of God? So more important than who you voted for or who you selected on the ballot is, have you selected the best inner candidates for personal change and transformation? What within you still requires transmutation, transformation, change? Have you opted to follow a new trajectory of light to the heart, mind, and will of God in order to further the cause of oneness, harmony, and truth? We may select others to represent us or to hopefully lead our nation, our state, our local municipality, or whatever. Ultimately, we really can choose to select God to inspire the leaders to act according to the will, wisdom, and love of God. I was going to write a letter to the newspaper and say, I cannot vote for anyone who is not pro-life, because to me this is the seminal choice of every person, to either further life or to be a party to death. And so this is why for many years some of us have voted more for those who are pro-life, simply because that one mindset, I will either support life or I will destroy life, says everything. And there are many aspects of this, of course. Some who are pro-life are pro the death penalty. And so it seems like a dichotomy. And many who are pro-choice are against the death penalty, another dichotomy. So which is it? If you're pro-life in every case, everywhere, with everyone. So you have to be true to what life is, in my opinion. You who seek a better world may look within to find it in that universe that God created inside you. If we only seek the better world outside by trying to change everything, by electing people who we politically agree with or trying to deny those who we politically disagree with, then are we putting our attention somewhere else other than where true change occurs inside of us? You who desire more loving humanity may restore compassion to its rightful place of grace in your own lives by consciously employing kindness as a means for resolution of conflict and planetary peace. So he's saying kindness is a means to this divine end. Resolution of conflict first, which then eventuates in planetary peace. You who would influence mankind to be more noble and true may draw upon the starfire radiance of cosmic virtue that's within you through mindful meditation upon the causeless one, God. Then he repeats the first statement after he addresses us disciples of the little God. He says, intense are the energies of pure spirit. He feels that. He knows how intense those energies of pure spirit is. He's basked in the fires of the great central sun. He knows how intense they are. So later he says, yes, intense are the energies of pure spirit. He repeats himself. Yet those who access my fire know somewhat of its purposes to cleanse and transform. So what he's saying is, don't go just directly to the great central sun. You'd be burned to a crisp. Bask in my fires for a while, the will of God. If you can handle my light, maybe someday you'll be able to bask in the light of the great central sun. Yet those who access my fire know somewhat of its purposes. Whose purposes? Spirit's purposes. To cleanse and transform, to purge and release you from every vestige of darkness and the denial of truth, patience, and happiness. You may win the day through surrender to the oneness state of unity. And I love this Zen statement. And the beautiful ambition of selflessness. So what's the beautiful ambition? It's really pure motive of selflessness. But he calls it the beautiful ambition of selflessness, a Zen statement. I love it when El Morya engages in Zen statements. To be truthful with self requires sweating great drops of spiritual blood to absolve yourself of your lesser desires. So we are really our own forgivers and priests. When we work within, we do that work of transmutation by sweating great drops of spiritual blood, getting rid of our lesser desires, transmuting them, and to resolve ourselves fully to engage in God's life plan for us. To be honest with the inner man or woman of your heart means that you are willing to strive past every seeming obstacle. Obstacles are there chiefly within our own mind. Every delay tactic, every temptation to engage in lesser pursuits that take you far afield from the singularity of wisdom, the unity of will, the oneness of love. Try a new path, walk a new route, traverse a new mountain path. Mountain pass. He added the word pass, I didn't have it in there. So I've highlighted a few of these concepts within this heart stream. We're at the end of our time together. Again, I apologize for the issue being able to communicate with you, but it's such a beautiful message from El Morya. I will take it to heart. I'll send this to our transcribers, and hopefully we'll get this one up on our site as soon as possible, both in audio, video, and then very soon in transcript form. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and take care. And we'll see you tomorrow morning from our Livings in Sanctuary of the Heart, where we will have our sharing on our trip to South America. I hope many of those of you in South America and those who were on this trip will be able to share with us. So let us know if you'd like to share, friends@heartcenter.org, and Boyd can put you in the queue to share. We're going to have a wonderful video presentation by Lisa Delaney that captures much of what transpired, and then we'll have the sharing of any who are willing and able to share tomorrow morning. Can't share tomorrow morning, if you'd like to send in some statements for us to read, we'll be happy to have those. And if you'd like to send in an audio file too, that would be great. God bless. Take care. Love you. Have a great day.